folks, how you doing? This is Wayne S. Pierce for the American Liberty Radio Network. How are you on this wonderful Sunday, the 9th of April 2017? It's a little mini podcast I'm going to do for you here. Not very long. I don't want to things are tech issues here. Anyway, I don't want to take too long. I just want to zero in on a couple of things. First of all, Facebook censorship. I mean, people have been dealing with that for, quite some time. I know Nick Tucker at Distorted Reality has been dealing with Facebook censorship. It's getting ridiculous. I just saw a post by someone on my friends list that said that they posted a information from NASA from a scientist saying that there was a black hole, and Facebook decided to take it down, but it was restored. So, after the person posting it contacted them and said, hey, this is ridiculous. And so it is getting to the point where I am very much considering dumping all my Facebook pages and just going with either, and I know this might sound, as just as bad, but I'm considering on going to Google Plus or Gab.ai. And I'm over there already at American Liberty Radio on Gab.ai. Facebook is just getting ridiculous. There is no free speech on Facebook. There is no free speech in America at all. I mean, you can say whatever you want, but you're going to get, I'm going to say, pseudo-persecuted for what you say. Facebook jail, all that kind of crap. And it's just, it goes beyond just the ridiculousness of what they do, And there's other places that censors stuff as well. You can, and some of the mainstream media, some of the propagandist media you see out there on TV, certain hosts and certain people are, trying to egg on these guests that they have on their show, and the guests are just shutting them down, left and right, just saying what they have to say, and that kind of puts a sock in the host's mouth, and go from there. But it is getting to the point where we are having right now a intellectual civil war, per se. Put civil war in air quotes. You seriously have to understand the psychology behind it all. And you can look at neuro-linguistic programming from the military-industrial complex and the psychology behind that, and you will see exactly why the propagandist media, or what you would consider to be the mainstream media, you can see why they do what they do. You can see how they do it. You can see how it's structured, how it all is. And it basically means that no matter what we say, no matter what we are, no matter, whatever label you want to put on yourself or others, it doesn't matter, because the elites, the people that actually run Washington, D.C., that have struck Syria here in the last few days, they don't care about your free speech. They don't care about your money. They don't care about your welfare. They don't care about anything other than making a profit for themselves, taking all the money, taking all the resources, taking everything that they ever want, and leaving you with nothing. That is exactly what their plan and goal is. Now, how do people get to the point of finally shutting them down? It's called revolution. Now, I'm not calling for one. I don't want one. I don't want to see a massive civil war in the United States against us, from us against them. I don't want to. I don't want to, because it's not going to be profitable for, the vast majority of the 315 million people here in the United States. It's just going to tear things up even more. And it's going to cost a great deal, not only lives, but finances. It's going to cost a great deal for each state. It's not going to look good. And we're going to be back in the same boat as we were in 1871, with our hands out to another country to try to, help out in, trade and all of that. It's not going to be good. My point is, we don't want a civil war in this country. We want the elites to be arrested, thrown in prison, thrown in jail, executed. We don't care. We don't care. We want the elites out of the system. We want them prosecuted to the fullest extent of the constitutional law that we are under, or should be prior to 1871, and we need to make them pay. Now, that's a utopian type of thought, and a little harsh as well, but think about this. You got crime going on in your city. You got people stealing cars and breaking into homes and all of this. And if they get caught, what does the system do? Pretty much slaps them on the wrist and sends them home, or, they spend 90 days in jail or whatever and got to pay a big old fine, and they're done. But when they get out, they do it again. Why? Because that's all they know. Because they're mentally disturbed and they have a mental disorder which causes them to have this idea that they're going to take, and they don't give a rip about anybody else in the neighborhood. This is the elites. This is the people who are controlling Washington, D.C. They don't really care about who you are. And we, the people, have to stand up and take a stand and defend this nation with everything we have. Now, of course, I just saw a video yesterday of someone I can't remember right now, but it's a video. I'd have to go into my video history on YouTube. And they saw, it was Dabu 7. Go check him out. Dabu 7, the recent video from yesterday. There was a caravan, or not even a caravan, it was a train full of military equipment that he showed once in his video. But in the beginning, it's a caravan that was pulled off to the side of the road of military vehicles. Now, I think it was Kentucky or something, I'm not sure. But Dabu 7, go look him up on YouTube. And this is what's happening all over the United States of America. In the last several years, I've seen videos that showed military equipment being shipped on trains. They were driving on the highways. They were doing all that, going, I don't know where, but they were going all over the United States. Now, some people would say, well, if they're going to, if it's on the West Coast and they're going to, Travis, or they're going to McClellan Air Force Base or whatever it is in California near Sacramento, and they're getting shipped out overseas. And some people were even saying it's older vehicles that have been shipped back from, the war zones, and they're being refurbished and all this, and they're getting new ones and all that. But you still, and as a side note, you still have to look at the fact that some counties in the United States are accepting military equipment for their law enforcement. So you have to look at that as well. And you have to look at a lot of stuff going on. Now, do we want a civil war in this country? No, but we have to take the elites even on a small scale, your mayors, your governors, your legislatures, all those people, and we need to arrest them and throw them in jail for crimes against humanity, for illegally doing what they're doing, and for bypassing constitutional law. We have to stop these people from doing what they do. I don't give one rip what you think. It has to be done. And when I say I don't care what you think, well, I know you're going to be negative and say, well, we can't do that either because, and you're going to make up some excuse. So I really don't care about excuses anymore. I'm calling for the arrest and prosecution of congressmen, of governors, of mayors who are, implementing unconstitutional laws in their cities, counties, and states, and in the federal government. I'm calling for that because this is what has to be done. Now, I'm not calling for a coup. I'm not calling for a military-style standoff somewhere or, occupation of a county somewhere. That's just stupid. What I'm saying is, under the law, you can go into the courtroom and say, I want to file this charge against so-and-so. You can do that. And if you don't believe me, go to your local courthouse and ask the court clerk that is behind that little bulletproof glass right there. If you have one, go ask them, how can I file charges against the governor? How can I file charges against the legislature or, the legislator or the governor or the mayor or whoever? You go talk to them, or you can look it up online. Is it going to get you anywhere? I don't know. I'm sure an attorney is going to call you and ask you, why are you doing this? And you have to tell him or her. Because I'm tired of them implementing unconstitutional laws, and I don't like it, and I want it stopped. I mean, do it by the law. No, don't go armed down to the courthouse. Don't do that. That's just stupid. Okay? Yeah. There's so many ways of doing something without violence. It's just you have to do this. Now, here in Montana, we've had an election, and Gorsuch is now part of the Supreme Court, so that's good or bad depending upon your perspective. But the fact of the matter is that we have a governor that pretty much loves Sharia law, and we have to stop him from doing that. We have to stop him at the front door of the governor's mansion and tell him, hey, enough's enough. You're going to do what we tell you to do. We voted you in here. You do what we tell you. We are your boss. You don't like it. That's just tough. You're going to have a very unfortunate political career in the future if you don't do what the people tell you to do. Because we can vote you out of office. And that's a message to all governors and all mayors and all legislators. We voted you into office. We can vote you out. We don't give a rip what you want. We want what we want. And we're going to get it one way or another. And I know a lot of people might think, well, that's kind of harsh. You're calling for, violence. No, I'm not. You decide what you want to do. I myself am pretty happy, getting up in my legislator's face and saying, listen, this bill that you're trying to put through is the dumbest piece of crap on the face of the planet. Now, either change it, throw it away, or we're going to vote you out of office. That's all there is to it. And that's how you have to be with these politicians. You get up in their face. They don't like it. They don't like it when you call them on the carpet. They don't like it when you expose them for, what they're doing. They hate it. You know why a lawyer becomes a politician? Because he can now hide all of his mistakes. He can hide all of his nefarious little things that he's doing. That's why 90% of all Congress is attorneys. Go look that up. About 90%. Why are attorneys becoming politicians? Because they can manipulate the law to manipulate you. That's why we cannot have, unlimited professional politicians in Congress. We have to have term limits, including states. We have to have term limits. No, I'm not calling for a coup. No, I'm just get that out of your head. I'm not calling for a coup. I'm not calling for violence against anybody. I don't want that. I don't want to see it. You don't want to see it. It's just stupid. So get that out of your head. We need to go in and just file grievances against the governors, against the mayors, against everybody that is implementing unconstitutional laws. And by the way, If you haven't read the Declaration of Independence, we have a duty and a responsibility to take these people and vote them out, not even vote them out, but go in and implement citizens' arrest against any of them and throw their asses out of office and put people in there that are going to do the job that we want done. It's in the Declaration of Independence, folks. You don't believe me? You really don't believe me? Go look up the Declaration of Independence. And actually, no, let me look it up for you, and I will give you this, okay? Excuse me. As soon as my computer decides to work here. Okay, here it is. The Declaration of Independence, we all know this. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal and that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Now, check this out, folks. To secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their powers from the consent of the governed. We can go into these houses, into the governor's office. We can go into the Capitol buildings, and we can say, "Listen, I do not consent to any of the unconstitutional laws this office is implementing." We have the right to do that, folks. Let me go on. It says here that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. There you go, right there. And I am going to copy and paste that into American Liberty Radio Podcast on Facebook, and hope they don't throw me in Facebook jail because I put the truth on their site. It's this, folks. Let me get right down to this. Let me just break this down to the most simplest way for you to understand. Not that you're stupid, but let me make this easier to understand, okay? We have the right and a responsibility and a duty to change our government, period, end of sentence, done. Now, a lot of people, a lot of your naysayers, a lot of your family members, a lot of your friends are going to say, yeah, that's called voting. No, it's not. Our votes don't count. Go look it up. None of them do. None of them do. They're put into, let's say, your votes are thrown into this pot, into this kitty, into this whatever. I'm using the poker analogy here. They're thrown into a kitty, and what they do is the districts, divvy them up and say, well, this person voted Republican. Okay, we'll put that over there. This person voted Democrat. Okay, we'll put that over there. This person voted independent. I don't know. This person voted nonpartisan. I don't know. So that goes into the other category. Folks, your votes don't count. None of them. None of them do. Okay? None. Because they're used as numbers to create percentages. You ever heard of delegates? They're used as percentages in that precinct to show how many people voted under a percentage. Go look that up. There's this whole big thing about percentages. I forget the name of it now, but it's on YouTube. It's a huge problem, folks. We don't have direct voting. We have a screwed system which screws you out of everything, okay? That's just the way it is. Now, I'm going to put that on American, what I just read to you a little while ago from the Declaration of Independence. I'm going to put that on the, as soon as I get up, there we go. My page does work, yes, okay. I want to put this on American Liberty Radio Podcast, and I'm going to also give you the link to it as well. And the bottom line is, folks, we know what we want. We know what we want. We don't care about the negative. We will defend ourselves the best way we know how. We know what we want. We know how we want it. We know that we have to do what we have to do to defend this nation. And anyone in this country that is a foreigner, that is part of a terror cell, that is, and yes, there are terror cells in the United States, that is here illegally, that is here under some sort of fake document, whatever. I mean, you can just go down the line, right? Let me tell you this. We need to find those people, and we need to kick them out of the country, including we need to arrest and prosecute all the judges, all the congressmen, all the legislators that allowed this to happen. We want to change America to what our founding fathers wanted it to be from 1776 to 1871. Okay? That's what we want. We want an America that is built upon entrepreneurship, that is built upon the principles of peace, freedom, liberty, and security. We don't want to be entangled in foreign wars, and our founding fathers warned us about that. We don't want a centralized government. Our founding fathers warned us about that. And we do not need nor want a central banking system. Our founding fathers warned us about that. I don't really give one rip what anyone thinks this country should be. I'm just concerned about how many people want this country to be what we want this country to be. There's a huge, huge, huge gap between what people want and need, and the Hillary supporters and the Bernie supporters and the Obama supporters want nothing more than a complete and total collapse of the United States of America. They want free stuff. They want free college. They want free health care. Yeah, no one gets charged. But guess what, dumbasses? The taxpayers pay for your free college and free health care. So shut your damn mouth. Well, at least it's not coming out of my pocket. You're a dumbass. Okay? I'm just going to plainly say it the way it is. You're a dumbass. Okay? And the criminal unconstitutional laws that Obama laid down and the executive orders that he had, let me tell you something. He needs to be in prison. Period. End of sentence. That's just the way it is. You know what our generals did in the Civil War and in the War of Independence before that? If somebody was treasonous against the country or deserted their post, firing squad or hanging. I'm not going to waste a rope on somebody who's criminal because, But the fact of the matter is, folks, we have to change this country from the inside out. It has always been that way. It will always be that way. We, the people, have to stand up, speak out, and get involved. Thank you, Brian Lang from LiveTruthRadio.com. The facts are the facts, and the facts are out there, and it is no longer a conspiracy theory. We have to do what we have to do. Now, what makes me, from your perspective, what makes me right? Well, Hey, if you got a better way of doing something, you go for it. If you got a better way of seeing it, or if you're seeing it from a different perspective other than mine, or if you see something that is different that you think would be better than what I'm saying, which is basically let's defend the United States of America against enemies foreign and domestic, then yeah, we'll consider it. We'll talk about it. We'll discuss it and see if it's going to work. But if you don't, if what you're saying is beyond viability, if it won't work, then no, we're not going to implement it. Somebody years ago asked me, well, if the crap hit the fan, would you be able or willing to lead people against or in defense of this country? Damn right. Let's do it. I mean, let's do it. We have enemies in this country, folks, from other countries that want to destroy us. It's not a conspiracy theory. Get your head out of your ass. It's not a conspiracy theory. We have enemies in this country on our soil. It is now time we track them down, arrest them, and throw their asses out of this country. I don't care if they wind up in the middle of the Atlantic, sinking in a boat. Good enough for me, but let's send them home. Let's send them back to where they came from. And let's take all the legislators and the governors, legislators, and the governors and the mayors that want Sharia law or will allow Sharia law in their area. Let's arrest them and prosecute them and charge them with treason. Let's start there. Because if you're allowing other people to come to this country and to push for their laws to be the only law in that area or in America, those politicians and mayors and governors are treasonous against the United States of America and against the people of the United States of America. That's my take on it. That's what I know. But am I wrong? Am I right? Did I overlook something? Huh? You tell me. You tell me. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. American Liberty Radio at USA.com. I stand on what I say. I stand on what I say. We need to prosecute all these mayors and governors and legislators for implementing or allowing the implementation of unconstitutional laws, period, end of sentence. Is that ever going to happen? I don't know. That's entirely up to we the people. It gets to the point where I get frustrated, where I have to find other angles to take a look at what's happening, where I have to see other perspectives, where I have to hear other opinions as to what's going on, to convey that to you, to help you understand what other people are seeing, because that's what I'm here for. And that's why American Liberty Radio Network was created. I still have Free America Radios, by the way, and it's on Facebook, but I'm going to probably use that a little more. But I want you to know that by no means whatsoever am I calling for a coup against the United States of America. I'm calling for the defense of the principles of peace, freedom, liberty, and security in this nation. That's what I'm calling for. And that's all I'm calling for. And we have to do what, take a page out of the book from Iceland. They arrested and kicked out all the people from the European Union and arrested their bankers for corruption. So, why don't we do it? Huh? Why don't we do it? I got to get out of here, folks. AmericanLibertyRadio.com is a website. American Liberty Radio on Gab.ai and on Spreaker.com. Sharing the truth one fact at a time without all the BS.